President Trump made a very nasty, crude comment at a posh dinner for Kennedy Center, the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., attended by various elites that Trump has instilled into Washington. And, you know, this comment isn't surprising that Trump made, but it should be, where this is far, far below the standards and the expectations of the most powerful man in the entire world to say things like I'm about to show you here. But unfortunately, that's not the case in this day and age in America. And our president is a very juvenile, very crude person, and it is on absolute full display here in this clip I'm about to show you. But before we do that, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot with the algorithm. So we'll head on over here to Mediaite, where Trump said, "I'll shove it up there at a dinner." Let's go ahead and watch this clip here.
And we got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine. We got the World Cup. I got them both, and I said, "Man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it because, you know, a little bit that's the way life is." And then they rigged the election. And then I said, "You know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass." And that's what I did. And all of a sudden, I then realized, I said, "You know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out." So if they would have left us alone and wouldn't have cheated on the election and wouldn't have rigged it, I would have been retired right now. I would have been happily doing something else. And instead, they have me for 4 more years. Can you believe it? Yeah. So it has.
So here is the most powerful man in the world, still complaining about the outcome of the 2020 election, claiming it was rigged with absolutely no evidence. That's been litigated time and time again. But the main thing I want to highlight here is just how one-track minded Trump's line of thinking is. Trump is somebody who is all about me, 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 me. He is not afraid to say it. You know, most politicians, they will at least try to operate under the guise of helping out people. You know, people in the GOP, they used to at least try to do that, try to pretend. Trump doesn't even try to pretend anymore. And the fact that his followers think that he is some man of the people fighting for their wants and their needs is absolutely crazy. When you have this guy here talking to Kennedy Center elites saying, "Oh, the election was rigged, and I secured the World Cup and I secured the Olympics, but I wasn't even going to be in office until they rigged the election. And then I came back and I said, I'm going to shove it up their ass. And now I get to have the World Cup and the Olympics again." I mean, what world are we living in where that is the president's number one concern? Who is going to get credit for bringing the World Cup and the Olympics to America in the mid part of this decade? Like, that's what Trump is concerned about first and foremost. You know, it's all about him. It's all about, how does this make me look? How does this affect my polling? How does this affect my legacy? How does this affect what the news is saying about me today? Nothing about you, nothing about your family, nothing about lowering costs, nothing about making sure that his inflationary inducing policies with his tariffs don't absolutely decimate this economy. Nothing in there about how can we make sure that we uplift each and every American in any way that we possibly can. Nothing. Trump's mind is totally all about him 100% of the time, and winning re-election and him deciding to run at all was all about him staying out of jail. And he said this, right? He said, there's going to be some bad things that are going to happen to me if I don't win re-election. And lo and behold, he won re-election. And now we're in a country where it's going to be very hard to bring Donald Trump to have any sort of consequences for his illegal behavior that he has displayed during his first administration, attempting to overthrow the peaceful transfer of power, and now his illegal deportations. It's going to be very hard to bring any sort of real consequences to Donald Trump, given that the American people, half of this country out there, heard Donald Trump campaign on me, and put him back in office. And I think it really points to a lack of a coherent response that the Democratic Party has or hasn't offered, right? The Democrats basically, in any world where things make any sort of sense, the Democratic Party would have absolutely no problem on a daily basis dispatching this guy's crazy rants and crazy talking points and his crazy nonsensical arguments. But they don't, because we don't have a clear leader at the moment, as I'll talk about later on here. And we are a party that has lacked a unifying core message that is repeated across the Democratic media sphere. And the Republicans are the exact opposite of that. They are militantly disciplined at getting their message out there in a consistent way. And it's something the Democratic Party needs to get better at, because this is just insane that we have another Donald Trump administration with this guy saying, bragging about FIFA and bragging about the Olympics, saying I should be getting all the credit, and I was afraid I wasn't going to get any of the credit before they stole and then they stole the election, and then they had to come back. And it's just like, it's a fire hose of falsehoods is what it's called. And the way that Trump so viciously sprays this fire hose of falsehoods is dizzying at times. And I think we need to do a better job at pointing out just how crazy Donald Trump's talking points generally are, and how unfit he is to serve as a president of the United States of America.